Welcome to the Green Wisdom Health Podcast with Dr. Stephen and Janet Lewis, where you will learn about natural solutions to common ailments. And now, here are your hosts, Dr. Stephen and Janet Lewis.
Hello and welcome to this week's show. We are very excited for our next presentation of what we've been up to. Dr. Lewis, you want to tell them what we've been up to?
Yeah, I hear from quite a few of my patients how that we've gone dark or gone silent because we haven't been putting out podcasts. Well, we're going to introduce you to our hormone balancing and weight loss book. And I'd like to say thank you for your patience. Thank you for your loyalty. Thank you for your trust, because we've been really busy making reformulations to some things so that they can work better, or where one new reformulation could take the place of two products. So the patients that have experienced this already are very happy and excited. And I think you'll find this weight loss book much different than any other diet book on the market because our approach is different.
And if you're wondering where you can find this book, this is the first of, I believe, 4 now that he's working on. We only have the one out.
Well, you know, it takes a lot of effort for Janet to keep me off the rabbit trails and keep me focused.
So he has to keep writing different books till he comes up with what he likes. So, but the first one is about thyroid and hormones and weight loss and all of those kind of things, nutrient-based eating, which is probably something you've not heard of before. If you like looking at the book, there's many recipes in the back. It is available right now on our front page of our website at greenwisdomhealth.com toward the bottom. It is an online ebook. Some people prefer not to read. We hear that too. So Dr. Lewis has completed the audio version of it, which we are delighted to share with you today. So, Dr. Lewis, anything else you'd like to add in before we let them hear the audio version?
Yeah, buckle up your seatbelt and notice where the notches are, because if you follow this book, you're going to have to take up a few notches, because if you will follow the program, you will lose weight, and then you'll start feeling more energetic and be the best person that you can possibly be, not only for yourself, but for your family.
So, without further ado, here's Dr. Lewis's Hormone Weight Loss book.
Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Stephen Lewis. I'm a chiropractor, and today we're going to be reviewing one of my favorite topics in functional medicine, hormone imbalances and nutrient deficiencies as they relate to weight loss. I've worked with hundreds of patients over the years in their struggles to lose weight, to boost energy, to improve how they feel in their own bodies, and who doesn't need that? And unfortunately, many times these patients suffered from severe hormonal imbalances and nutrient deficiencies, which usually went undetected in their journey to better health. So over the next half hour or so, we're going to explore which hormones are directly associated with weight gain and weight loss, the specific nutrients needed to naturally balance these hormones, the foods that are abundant with these nutrients, and then lastly, how to get started in balancing hormones and losing weight. But first, I want to go over the various weight loss programs you might have experimented with and some of the symptoms of hormone imbalances. In trying to lose weight, have you ever been frustrated with all the dietary rules you had to follow? Starved yourself by eliminating every type of food? Complained about how awful the prepackaged meals tasted? Become bored with counting calories for every meal? Experiencing unwanted side effects from the weight loss meds? Contemplated or undergone bariatric surgery? Have you ever worked with a personal trainer that didn't provide realistic workouts? I like to ask these questions to my patients because most often they've tried more than one way to lose weight, but they were unsuccessful, and sometimes they get very discouraged in attempting another way to lose weight. Each type of weight loss program out there, dropping pounds quickly or just taking a pill to miraculously see the weight dipping on the scale, is usually promised, but almost never delivered. Plus, all the rules and restrictions which accompany the program usually leave you feeling deprived and having no quality of life. If you look at my screen, I ask you, have you ever tried one of the weight loss programs or products before? Everything from fat burning supplements to the miracle diet out there, the weight loss industry is a $78 billion industry. Yes, billion with a B. And the list isn't even complete. I just took the top weight loss categories that I often see people try. So, what I'd like you to do in order to get you involved is ask yourself, did any of these weight loss methods successfully keep the weight off? Did any of these weight loss methods address why you were gaining weight in the first place? Is your health better today than it was 10 years ago? Dig deep and be honest on that one. Do you feel right in your own body? I know, it's frustrating. Each year and even every other year, sometimes we try to lose weight and feel better. We'll experiment with a weight loss program we read about or have seen one of our friends try, and we might get results for the first few weeks and then stop. Nothing happens. We plateau. We feel miserable, and we're just left wondering, why can't I just start feeling right in my own body? Does this sound like you? Do you suffer from any of the following? Depression, anxiety, diabetes, hypothyroidism, low libido, if you've lost that loving feeling, chronic fatigue, poor sleep, brain fog, stress, and PMS. You know, that sounds like the beginning of a good country western song. Most of the time I hear from my patients and they're frustrated in their journey to losing weight and feeling better, but I often hear them say that they've previously been diagnosed or suffer with one of these medical conditions or unwanted symptoms. Have you been diagnosed or suffer from any of these conditions? If you answered yes to any of these 10 medical conditions or symptoms, then you most likely have an underlying hormone imbalance or micronutrient deficiency, which is contributing to weight gain and poor health. The top 2 reasons why most people do not lose weight. Yes, I'm going to boil it down to 2. The reason they don't lose weight and keep it off is because of hormonal imbalances and nutrient deficiencies. The endless weight loss supplements, the diets, the medications are out on the market that most people try but usually never address the reason why they're gaining weight in the first place. There are over 50 hormones in the body which control hundreds and hundreds of daily metabolic processes. At the core, these hormones are chemical messengers that help different glands and organs in the body talk to each other. Each hormone requires specific nutrients. Without the hormone balance and nutrition optimization, no matter what you do to lose weight, it most often will not work long term. Specific nutrients in adequate levels are needed to properly fuel hormone production, balance, and weight loss. Let's take, for example, you're trying to lose weight, but you're hitting a plateau. You feel like your metabolism is to blame and it's just sluggish. I've heard that so many times. The top hormone for metabolism is your thyroid. The thyroid gland controls so many metabolic functions, but for weight loss, it helps manage the metabolism and the burning of calories. The secret most people don't know about it is the thyroid gland needs specific nutrients to function. Iodine, selenium, and tyrosine are just a good start in just some of the required nutrients that the thyroid needs in order to produce these thyroid hormones. So you see, if you want to boost your metabolism, you need to focus on the thyroid hormones. But you also need adequate level of specific nutrients for the thyroid gland to actually work. The same holds true for appetite. Specific nutrients are needed to balance leptin hormones, which are the hormones needed to suppress hunger. And for testosterone hormones, zinc and magnesium are just 2 of many nutrients needed for proper testosterone hormone balance. Testosterone hormone balance is needed for both men and women to help improve lean body composition. the top 10 weight loss hormones, because out of the 50 plus hormones in the body, the 10 hormones which directly affect our ability to lose weight and keep it off, plus these hormones are also responsible in controlling how we feel each day. Anxiety, stress, depression, fatigue, poor sleep, and various other unwanted symptoms are associated with these hormones. There's leptin, which is for satiety, satisfaction. So if you're not getting any satisfaction, so to speak, that's a good sign. But it's leptin. Ghrelin is the hunger hormone. Cortisol is the stress hormone. And there's many things that can cause those stresses. Insulin is the blood sugar hormone. Estrogen is the belly and hip fat hormone. Progesterone is the water retention hormone. Testosterone, lean muscle hormone. DHEA is the helper hormone and the precursor to some of these other ones. Thyroid is the metabolism hormone. Growth hormone is the muscle growth hormone. So what does each weight loss hormone mean in your overall journey to losing weight and feeling better? I get this question a lot when I talk about the top 10 weight loss hormones. Let's simplify it even further. I took the 10 weight loss hormones, I've categorized them into 4 compartments to make them easier to understand. Leptin and ghrelin hormones are the yin and yang for appetite and craving control. If you've started any weight loss program or diet before, you know one of the first sabotages in failing on the diet is uncontrollable appetite. We must balance our leptin and ghrelin hormones in order to set us up for success in losing weight. Fat storage release. This is the next stage for losing weight, is just stopping the body from accumulating more fat. You can't lose fat if you keep gaining it. The stress hormone cortisol and blood sugar hormone insulin are directly responsible for storing more fat in the body, especially around the belly area. The third category, and very often overlooked, is fat detoxification. Once we stop accumulating fat, we must focus on detoxifying excess fat from the body, and this is where the pounds really start coming off. Getting your liver, kidney, and digestive system kicked into gear, along with detoxifying xenoestrogen toxins from the body, can not only help with the weight loss, but it's where we actually start feeling so much better. More energy, better digestion, and more. Fat burning. Lastly, we want to turn up the heat and boost our metabolism and preserve lean muscle mass. To accelerate the weight loss process and begin toning the body, thyroid, DHEA, testosterone, and human growth hormones need to be regulated and balanced. The 4-step process is synergistic to losing weight. The reason why most people do not get the best results on weight loss programs is because they only focus their efforts on one area. For example, patients take appetite suppressant medications. They're only focusing on controlling appetite, but they never address the accumulation, the detoxification, or the burning of excess fat. In other examples, patients take fat-burning supplements. They're only focusing on metabolism, but yet their appetite is most likely insatiable, along with fat storage and fat detoxification impairments. Losing weight is multifactorial, multifaceted, and attacking weight loss and balancing hormones from every possible direction is needed for the best weight loss and feel-good results. Appetite control. The first reason why most people stop a weight loss program or diet is because of uncontrollable appetite and cravings. When we begin to eliminate addictive foods and drop our daily calorie amounts to fit within a diet program, our body sends signals of feed me now. We've all had those. Withdrawal symptoms of headaches, irritability, or chronic fatigue also sets in, and it makes all that much more difficult. Just giving in and eating those cookies or slice of pizza to shut down these cravings is way too easy. There are 2 hormones, and two neurotransmitter brain chemicals. I call neurotransmitters the happy hormones. These are associated with appetite and cravings. Ghrelin hormones tell our body that we're hungry, and leptin hormones tell our body that we're full. When there's an unbalance in these two hormones, it leaves us with an insatiable appetite that we constantly must eat, even if we don't need to. Now, serotonin and dopamine, the so-called happy hormones, they're neurotransmitter brain chemicals. They're responsible for our cravings. Appetite and cravings are two separate issues. Appetite is where there's grumbling in our stomach and we just have to eat. Insatiable cravings are when we crave specific foods to make us feel happy. The serotonin and dopamine effect can self-sabotage our weight loss efforts. If you've ever craved specific foods such as cookies, chocolate, ice cream, pizza, or anything else, then you're most likely to have a serotonin and dopamine imbalance. Serotonin is the so-called feel-good brain chemical, and dopamine is the rewards or pleasure brain chemical. The overall goal is to give our body the necessary nutrients to suppress hunger and shut down the cravings so we don't have these insatiable appetites ruining our weight loss efforts. Now, there's quite a few different appetite control nutrients. One of the ones that's missing in most people's diet is fiber, and that the benefit of that is leptin and ghrelin hormone balance. Tryptophan for serotonin balance, which is, the whole food source for that would be turkey, chicken, and beef. And that's why when we eat a lot of turkey at Thanksgiving, we all get tired and sleepy and want a nap, because the tryptophan in the turkey has turned to serotonin. Magnesium, that is incredibly important in our neurotransmitter synthesis and for blood sugar regulation. The top foods for that is spinach, tuna, and avocado. And it goes on and on and on and on. Fat storage. The next step in hormone weight loss system is stopping the body from storing more fat. There are two hormones that contribute to fat storage, which is cortisol and insulin. There's a direct cause and effect on how these hormones pack on the pounds, especially around the belly area. Stress. In this day and age, who doesn't suffer from some type of stress? Stress from finances, stress from a relationship, stress from work, stress from even other health problems, stress from what you hear on the news. All these different types of stress, when they're compounded on top of one another, can lead to chronic stress and elevated cortisol stress hormone levels. You see, when we're suffering from periods of stress, our body begins to ramp up cortisol hormone production to help calm the body and reduce stress levels. Unfortunately, when we experience prolonged stress, the signal to stop cortisol hormone production never stops. A ramp up in cortisol hormone production has a direct effect on the body producing more blood sugar glucose, which fuels the body to deal with more stress. Then another reaction in the body is the need to produce more insulin hormones because of the excessive blood sugar glucose levels. The insulin hormones help usher the glucose into the cells for energy. However, when we get too much glucose, or too much glucose is being produced or consumed, our bodies become insulin resistant, and as a result, the excess glucose in the bloodstream gets converted into fat, think triglycerides, to be stored for later use. And this can clog up the liver, which causes further malfunction. And then it begins to put these fats around the belly and other areas and store it as fat. I'm sorry about the medical explanation about how fat keeps getting stored in the body, but it's really important that you understand how chronic stress leads to belly fat and weight gain. For example, more stress equals more cortisol hormones, which equals more glucose production, which equals more stored fat. The positive aspect to controlling cortisol stress and insulin blood sugar hormone levels is the fact that specific nutrients can actually help balance these hormones. There are many clinically researched nutrients which have shown a benefit in decreasing stress levels and balancing insulin hormone levels. So let's review just a few of these. Fat storage release nutrients, and there are many of them, but let's just talk about a few. Vitamin C, we can't produce our own vitamin C, so you have to have a dietary source of that, which the benefit is stress reduction. You get more vitamin C from bell peppers, strawberries, and broccoli, for example. Probiotics are incredibly important, and they help block blood sugar absorption, and they help in the detoxification process. You can get that from apple cider vinegar and good yogurt, or I tell my patients just to learn to brew your own. Vitamin B1, which is imperative for blood sugar metabolism. The main food sources are pork chops, salmon, and flaxseed. And when you're low on that, you usually have brain fog. How many of that, or how many can relate to that? Fat detoxification. Headaches, low energy, poor sleep, brain fog, constipation, and other unwanted symptoms can be a direct result of too much toxicity in the body. In the next step, the hormone weight loss system, we really need to focus on eliminating fat toxins from the body, particularly xenoestrogen toxins. These toxins not only increase the pounds, but they're often the culprit to negative symptoms which impact our quality of life. You've probably noticed in your skincare, shampoo, and other self-improvement products that they'll say no parabens, no phthalates, etc., etc. Even when you go to the grocery store, you may have noticed words on the food packaging of non-GMO, antibiotic-free, organic, or other similar statements. But yet we have thousands of chemicals which often find our way into our food supply, cosmetics, carpeting, furniture, and other household items that are very harmful to your body. These chemicals at a higher level, especially if you can't detox them, can cause an array of symptoms. As for weight loss and hormone balancing, there's one toxin that we must focus on, and that's called xenoestrogens. Toxins that mimic our natural estrogen hormones can trick our body into storing more fat. These xenoestrogens on a molecular level are very similar to the estrogen hormones, and when they're abundant in the body, they can tell the body to store more fat. The need to eliminate these xenoestrogens through proper liver, kidney, and digestive detoxification can greatly impact our weight loss efforts. Along with detoxifying these xenoestrogens, it will help bring about estrogen and progesterone hormone balance, which further improve how you feel. The result, most of the time, will be more energy, better sleep, improved digestion, glowing skin are the top benefits, as well as getting your libido back. Then comes the weight loss and further detoxification of these xenoestrogens. Now, for fat detoxification nutrients, there are so many of them. One of my favorites is N-acetylcysteine, which the benefit is detoxification and glutathione production. It really helps the liver clean up the body. The top food source is beef, pork chops, and chicken. Fiber that we talked about before, but one of the major benefits is it binds to toxins. You get more fiber out of, for example, avocado, chia seeds, and broccoli. Folate, which helps with methylation, and that's one of the many detoxification pathways of the liver. You get greater amounts of folate out of asparagus, broccoli, and spinach. The next step in losing weight and hormone balancing is fat burning. Many times my patients have started on a weight loss program before and they plateaued, and that's where they get discouraged. The number one reason to weight loss plateauing is slow metabolism caused by metabolic hormone imbalance. If this has happened to you before, you're not alone, but more importantly, there is an answer. As we age, there's 3 metabolism-based hormones which dramatically decrease: testosterone, DHEA, and human growth hormone. are the hormones responsible for lean muscle mass and better body composition. Think about it. If you weighed 170 pounds when you were 20 years old and weigh 170 pounds when you're 50 years old, does your body look the same? The answer is probably not. You'll notice more sagging skin, more fat around the midsection, and just a different overall body shape. By focusing just on the number on the scale, you're not really taking into account the complete weight loss picture. You need to boost testosterone, DHEA, and human growth hormone so that can help preserve lean muscle mass and the tone and the shape of our bodies and make that better. Plus, having more muscle mass has been shown to boost metabolism rates. The other hormone, which I like to consider our main metabolism hormone, is the thyroid hormone. This hormone as well can become much more dysfunctional as we age, but the thyroid hormone can also become imbalanced for many other reasons. One of the reasons is poor dietary habits. Then you have genetics, autoimmune disorders, and there are various other factors that can stop our thyroid from working at optimal levels. When there's not sufficient thyroid hormone production or poor conversion between the types of thyroid hormones, such as T4 to T3, our metabolism begins to slow down. As a result, we're not burning off the calories, and those excess calories in the body turn into fat. Just like the other three steps in the hormone weight loss system, there is good news on how specific nutrients can boost metabolism and balance the fat-burning hormones. Some of the fat-burning nutrients are iodine. The benefit is thyroid hormone production. Top whole food source is cod, shrimp, and seaweed. Magnesium, T4 to T3 conversion. You get that mostly out of spinach, tuna, and avocado. Omega-3s are incredibly important because they're anti-inflammatory. Some of the top food sources are salmon, chia seeds, and pumpkin seeds. And then carnitine, which helps improve lean muscle mass, and the top whole food source is beef, pork, and cod. Are you consuming the right nutrients in the right delivery form at the right dosage to balance the right hormones? If not, then you may be suffering from a micronutrient deficiency, which is causing a hormone imbalance and unwanted weight gain. When I work with my patients on losing weight and balancing hormones, I immediately start thinking of which nutrient deficiencies can they be suffering from that are contributing to the hormone imbalances, and then lastly, weight gain. By focusing more upstream on the problem, you can get to the root cause of the issue. So for weight loss, we need to have adequate levels of nutrients which help balance hormones. And then lastly, weight loss becomes easier. So let's look at this in a more visual way. Losing weight and feeling better comes down to an easy system. No more fad-based diets with severe restrictions or taking endless amounts of supplements which don't address the underlying hormone and nutrient issues. To conquer weight loss and feel better, we need to focus more upstream on the cause of the problem. Step 1, micronutrient optimization. Specific vitamins, minerals, amino acids, and fatty acids that are imperative for the body to have in order to use to get healthy and shed those unwanted pounds. You can't increase metabolism if you have a sluggish thyroid, and you can't improve thyroid health unless you have the right amounts of iodine, selenium, tyrosine, and several other nutrients in the body. And I'm not just talking adequate, where you go to the store and take 100% of the recommended RDA of a nutrient. This is the bare minimum amount needed not to have a nutrient-based disease. These levels are far too low for nutrition optimization in the body. For example, the RDA for vitamin D is about 600 IUs a day. Most clinical studies show that 2,000, 4,000, or even 10,000 a day is the amount needed to have true health benefit. We must have optimized levels of nutrients in the bodies so our hormones become balanced. Step 2 is the hormone balance itself. If we feed our body the right foods with nutrient-dense ingredients, then we can begin the journey to nutrition optimization. However, just eating the right foods is not always going to get us across the goal line. Unfortunately, the amounts of nutrients found in our foods today are a lot lower than what they were 50 years ago. How we grow the foods, how we fertilize the foods, and even how we cook them all take away from the nutrient benefits. The need to infuse specific nutritional supplements in our daily lives is needed to truly optimize deficient level of nutrients. By combining both food and supplemental sources of specific nutrients, then we can naturally restore hormone balance. Then, step 3 is weight loss. By focusing on nutrition optimization in the body, we can begin to balance the hormones. And once we balance the hormones, we can start the process of effortlessly losing weight. Yes, you heard me right, effortlessly. And another added benefit to nutrition optimization and hormone balance is feeling better. Who doesn't want to feel better and lose 10, 20, or even 50 pounds? And the bonus of having more energy, better sleep, improved digestion, health, and in most cases, you just feel better mentally. You lose that stress, anxiety, and depression. So, how do you start balancing your hormones and losing weight? We just discussed how specific nutrient deficiencies and hormone imbalances can lead to insatiable appetites, fat accumulation, slow metabolism, which all impact weight gain or weight loss. The next step we have to ask ourselves is, what are we going to do about it? Just knowing what could be causing the problem is one thing, but taking action steps to eliminate the problem is the next thing we must do to take back control of our bodies. In just 3 easy steps, you'll have everything you need in balancing hormones and losing weight. I took the guesswork out of what to eat and do every day in my complete hormone weight loss system. For a nutritional supplement perspective, I personally designed a synergistic protocol of specific nutrients which target the top weight loss hormones and possible nutrient deficiencies that could cause these hormone imbalances. And then from what to eat, I created a hormone weight loss dietary plan which focuses on all the foods you can eat rather than what you can't. I've identified the clinically researched nutrients that promote hormone balance and weight loss. Then I discovered the top whole food sources of these foods and designed meal plans and grocery lists which infuses these foods and nutrients into 30 minutes or less recipe. And that's really good to save that time. It takes off a lot of stress.
We hope you've enjoyed listening to Dr. Lewis's Hormone Weight Loss Nutrition System audiobook. And because of this book, we've added in a couple of new lab panels. One is a men's hormone weight loss panel, and the other is a women's hormone weight loss panel. It is specific to this book, and for a limited time, we are offering $150 off of the program. So that program would include the 60-plus biomarker lab test, a 15-page functional health lab report, a nutrition interpretation of lab results, and of course Dr. Lewis's consultation with supplement recommendations, just like he's always given you. But it is just on these 2 lab panels, and these are lab panels you've never had in the past. So if you're thinking it's time to get started losing weight in the new year, we want to help you and say thank you for your loyalty and for being a part of our family for all these years as we make all these changes and our lives continue to grow, and hopefully yours do as well. So if you'd like to take advantage of this offer's good till the end of February. It is $150 off the $499 lab panel. So that would make it $349, but you have to use the promo code GET GETFIT. It's GETFIT when you check out with the lab panels. So we appreciate you guys. And Dr. Lewis, would you like to add anything else?
Yeah, the only thing I'd like to add is the thing that stands between a person and what they want in life is the will to try it and the faith to believe it's possible. Let's do this, folks.
That's good. You guys have a blessed week, and we'll be here next time on the Green Wisdom Health Show.
Once again, our show has come to an end, but your hope in your health is only beginning. If you or a loved one are in need of a different outcome and are waiting for a brighter future, take the first step and go to our website and fill out the health survey. Please don't keep us a secret. If you know someone that could benefit from this podcast, please share this show with your friends and family. You are only one step away from a life worth living.